Welcome to this video nugget on the transfer belt removal. Begin by setting SP3701093-201. In this case, we're going to leave it as is since it's a brand new machine. Begin by opening the right door, and then when the right door is open, you need to drop down the transfer roller assembly. Then we're going to open the front door. We'll need a 5.5 millimeter hex driver or a Phillips screwdriver to remove the one screw and remove this cover. Now the screws that are holding these in are metal screws that go into plastic, so be careful when you're putting them back in not to strip out those holes. Rotate both of the levers in a counterclockwise direction and then slide the transfer belt towards the front of the machine. It will stop. You have to raise the left handle to clear, and then with a prepared suitable flat surface, we're going to then set this transfer belt on a blue towel there we've got set on a table. Now we got 3 screws to take off on this cover assembly. This top left screw is special in that it's fairly long and has a collar. The bottom 2 are again standard 5.5 millimeter hex heads, and again metal screws that go into plastic. So again, be very careful. The best way to put those in is when you put them in, go left to get them in the threads, and then right to lock them in. On the top of that cleaning assembly, we've got 2 screws here. So one on this side and a similar screw on the other side. So with both of those screws out, we want to make sure we don't make a mess with the transfer belt cleaning assembly. So we'll take this little cover off, and then we're going to turn the unit upside down so that when we remove the belt unit from the cleaning unit, any of the toner that would be in there is not going to make a bigger mess than it needs to. That left side handle is not really attached, so be careful when you set it down on there. I've kind of got it propped up a little bit to keep stuff off the transfer belt on that area, since I will be using this transfer belt again. So with the screw on the front, we'll take that off, and there'll be another screw just like that in the back. So we'll remove that screw as well, and then when that screw is removed, the only things holding the transfer belt cleaning unit in is these white clips. So just kind of push down a little bit and they'll clear themselves from the shaft. Same thing on the other side, just simply push down a little bit and it'll clear. Then we'll lift up the transfer belt and clear the cleaning unit. We'll put that off to the side. And while we still have it upside down, we're going to take this one screw off and remove this bracket. There's 2 pins you can see on the front. The back is more of a flat blade type slot into that plastic. So we'll wiggle that out a little bit, and that will remove the bracket. The next thing we're going to do is turn it back on the other side and remove those 2 brackets that we used to remove it from the machine. So with it securely on the other side, we've got a couple screws on each of these brackets. Again, they're standard 5.5 millimeter hex, and they are metal screws going into plastic. There's little pins that actually help guide those on there as well. So with the back one removed, I'll grab that handle and it clears the back one. I kind of had a little trouble with the front, so I'll wiggle a little bit. There we go, it's off. Now we're going to move the roller assembly. Again, another 5.5 millimeter screw. These are all metal screws that tap into plastic. Again, when reassembling, turn them the way you would normally turn them to loosen them, lefty-loosey, and you'll feel them click and drop into the threads that were created earlier. Remove the roller assembly. Now we've got this gray pin assembly. Remember the gray and the gear. There's that white gear on the left. So remove that screw and then wiggle that little gray pin assembly out of the unit. And we'll drop the transfer belt just a little, and we have a similar pin. It's black though on the other side. Again, remove that 5.5 millimeter metal screw going in the plastic. Remove that pin. And next, the manual says we need to release the pressure. So I put on a pair of gloves so we don't get too many fingerprints or issues with the belt. We're going to change the camera angle. It says just simply push this to the left, take the tension off. That may not be the best idea. I'll show you a little trick that we got here in a couple of slides from now. So as you start to lift the belt off of there, you're going to notice it catches on the left hand side, like there's just not enough room, that little rib or that tab that sticks out. So this next piece is not in the manual, and it might actually be something we want to check or do prior to relieving the pressure of those two little ends that we just did. Have to reposition this a little bit. It's not quite as stable on this side, so I'm going to have to hang on to it. So while I rearrange the camera angle, just give me a second here. Okay, we're going to get a better angle on the top, and if you look at this cam on the left there in the middle, is you rotate that, that's going to rotate that assembly there right behind it, and it's going to move that pin in that slot, giving you a little more slack on the assembly. So with that in the place that we showed here, we can now just grab the transfer assembly and slide that assembly out of the belt. Now when reassembling the belt, make sure that you get the belt inside the collar there at the top and the collar at the bottom. Hope you found this nugget useful. Thanks for watching.